So I was tasked to report about this decentralization, which is part of the managerial control and costing system. So since we cannot attend class, so we were tasked to report it, to have a video. So muna kung buhaton karon. So let's start with this topic, decentralization. So decentralization is one of the organizational structures that an organization could have. So daghan types of organizational structure, and one of it is decentralization. So but first ato siya siyang i-compare sa centralization. So ang kani pong centralization is a type of organizational structure. So centralization from the term itself, so centralized, so meaning all major planning and operating are made by top management. So from the term itself, so meaning centralized, so the decisions are being made by the top management. So whatever the decisions being made by the top will be followed by the lower management also. So muna siya ang centralization. Say for example, if I'm not mistaken, the University of Mindanao, so centralized ilahang gamit nga structure in which whatever the decisions made by the UMA will be followed by the branches. On the other hand, decentralization. So kaning decentralization, this mo ni ang focus sa akong report. So decentralization, the delegation of decision making authority to lower management levels in an organization. So unlike centralization, ang decentralization, ang magabuhat og decision is the lower management. So meaning, nibaba ang from the top management, instead nga ang top management ang mag-make og decision, so gihatag nila ang authority, ang delegation of authority sa sa lower management. So katong mga managers under sa mga top management. So muna siya ang decentralization. So advantages, simple lang. So advantages of decentralization, first is we have these motivated managers. So of course, whenever the managers are assigned to make decisions, of course they will be motivated because the success of the company will rely in them. And second one is faster decision. So whenever the decision making is made by the lower management, so mas dali ang pag-decide because dili sila muhulat kung unsang decision sa taas, but sila na mismo ang mabuhat dito sa baba. So there will be a fast decision. Ikatulo is enhanced specialization, and ikaapat is defined span control. So these are just some of the advantages of decentralization. So let's proceed with the disadvantages. So kaning disadvantages first is the conflict. Of course, mag-increase ang conflict sa decentralization because katong mga lower management na daghan sila sa lower management, unlike sa top management na gamay lang. So there is a chance of there is a possibility jud na mag-increase ang conflict with decentralization. And also the second advantage is it increases cost. So since ang daghan na og swelduhan, daghan na kuan kay ang magbuot naman katong nasa baba. So maka-incur na pud og another na mga cost. So mao na siya ang some of the disadvantages of decentralization. I stop to here. So the second topic that I will discuss is responsibility accounting. This is part of also of the managerial control. So kaning responsibility accounting, simple lang nagian na ni nato pagka-college. So the process of measuring and reporting operating data by responsibility centers. So the organizations are divided into different responsibility centers. So unsa man to siya ng mga centers? Common examples are cost center, profit cost center, and investment center. So kaning cost center, so cost center meaning the center for cost. So they are the center which are responsible over the cost of the company. The profit center naman is has the responsibility over revenue and cost. And lastly is investment center have responsibility over revenue cost, and investment. So muna siya. So the focus of my topic is all about the empirical study. So I have searched some empirical studies and I have found this study by Atsukotoy. This is entitled An Empirical Study of the Effects of Decentralization in Indonesian junior secondary school. So focus siya sa mga junior secondary school sa Indonesia. So we all know that the decentralization becomes a trend now sa mga education system. So mo na gi-follow karon sa Indonesia ang decentralization. But may mga problems nga or disparity with regards to the educational outcomes between different regions. So the centralization of power in Indonesia. So before, centralized ang government sa Indonesia, and during the Suharto era, it led to corruption katong during sa time sa ilang centralization nga government. So naglead og corruption and efficiency in executing government operations. That is why the local government law in 2001 promotes decentralization, in which the Indonesia hopes to realize a modern decentralized administrative system in line with the global trends. So guys, decentralized na ang education system sa Indonesia para daw mawala tong in order to lessen the inefficiency and corruption. So with regards to the comparison between the effects of those variables that are being used in the study, so iyang gigamit is covariance structure analysis. So this covariance structural analysis is the statistical method that being used by the researcher, which was to identify the influence and effects of factors related to educational environment upon educational outcome. So asa man siya nanguha aning mga factors. So of course, naggamit po siya og another nga method, which is exploratory factor analysis. So before siya naka-find og result or effects, so nangita siya mga factors using the exploratory factor analysis. And after that, so iyang gi-compare using covariance structure analysis ang effects sa educational system towards educational achievement before and after decentralization. Stop here. So there is a graph here. So there is a graph which shows the effects of the decentralization before and after the decentralization, in which nag-start ang decentralization pagka 2002, gi-adapt nila ang decentralization na education system before. So naa diri ang graph, makita nimo. So and included ang mga factors that are being used to compare, and ang iyang na find is that increase in the school budget improves the quality of the educational environment and leads to high test scores and lower dropout rates. So such positive results, however, turned out to be less significant, and the relationship between the factors became weaker during the period of decentralization had started. So we all know, pag decentralization, of course, ang kwarta sa lower authority kay gikan ra pud sa ilaha. That is why ang findings niya makita nato diri sa graph nga ang revenue ang pinaka naapektuhan sa mga student ay nasa education system, because grabe iyang gap. So nakita ninyo diri ang na pag mas taas daw ang budget, kung mas taas ang budget sa isa ka education, sa isa ka eskwelahan, so mas ma-improve nila ang ilahang quality of educational environment, and of course which leads to educational outcomes. Pero tungod sa decentralization, so naay disparity between the regions, meaning lahi-lahi ang result, dili pareha tungod kay katong mga pobre na kung ibutan nato ba murag pobre siya nga eskwelahan, meaning gamay lang pud siya income. So pasabot ana kung gi-decentralize nato ang isa ka education system, so gamay lang sila revenue, unlike to mga dato jud na mga eskwelahan. So that is why naay disparity, naay inconsistency between the implementation of decentralization. Kay before, mahatagan man sila revenue sharing from the top, kay tungod kay all of the revenues of Indonesia will be accumulated and will be divided among different schools. Pero pag abot sa decentralization, so ang revenue ang revenue karon sa mga tagsa nga mga eskwelahan is gikan na pud sa ilaha, meaning ni gamay ilahang budget, unlike ato mga dato-daan na mga eskwelahan in which wala sila kayo na apektuhan. So mo na iyang na find diri ang naay disparity between different schools. Kay nga naman mo ito kay because of the first is the revenue sharing, og ila pong gasto of course na apektuhan because murabag kung ilang lugar ilahang income, ilaha ra pong revenue, so ilaha pong expenses, so dili sila magsalig dito sa top nga sa top nila nga management. So mo na ang nahitabo karon sa iyahang research, but napoy mga wala na apektuhan na factors na mga wala na apektuhan na factors. So say for example kaning dropout rate, so wala siya na affected before and after decentralization. Kanay mga part-time teachers, so gamay lang, ay though na is minimal lang ang changes with regards to the graph that is being viewed here. So the outcome of the educational system now would depend whether there is a proper implementation with regard whether whether centralized siya or decentralized, as long as the implementation is good. So nindot jud ang educational outcome for me. So whatever the organizational structure that is being practiced by the specific organization or such organization, so magdepende na jud ang success sa ilaha kung saan nila ang pag-decide. So that ends my report, and malang to siya. So that ends my report, and hope you have understood something from my